And while we're on the topic of utilities in our area, big recent news regarding PacifiCorp. The U.S. government is threatening to sue the company over the 2020 wildfires in Oregon and Northern California. How much money are we talking about? How about $1 billion? Yeah, with a B. The potential lawsuits were noted in an annual report filed by PacifiCorp's parent company, Berkshire Hathaway Energy, that's owned by Warren Buffett. He runs Berkshire Hathaway. This is a new liability that comes after the utility already agreed to pay hundreds of millions in lawsuits related to the fires we've covered extensively here on the story. The company is now trying to negotiate a settlement to avoid this new litigation. Here's what we know. The feds want $625 million in firefighting and cleanup costs related to the Archie Creek and Susan Creek fires. That's along with the $109 million that the Oregon Department of Justice wants in damages related to those fires. And the U.S. Forest Service has asked the utility to pay $356 million for the Slater fire, which started in California but crossed the Oregon border. Those are all federal agency costs, and they want those recouped. The fires were among the worst in Oregon history, killing 9 people and destroying about 5,000 homes and structures. The lawsuits that we've seen so far in Oregon revolve around the accusation that PacifiCorp negligently failed to shut off power to its customers during the Labor Day windstorm, despite warnings from state and fire officials, and that their energized lines started fires when they came down. So we'll see if settlement is reached or if these new lawsuits move forward. Now, if you are a Pacific Power customer, you're probably wondering if these lawsuits will affect your rates in the future. The answer is, yeah, there's a chance. The company is not unilaterally allowed to raise rates to pay for things like litigation losses, but a few months ago, the utility filed something to open the door to that possibility. It was immediately met with a challenge from an advocacy group and ratepayers alike, so time will tell. But Buffett's Berkshire estimates that its utilities face at least $8 billion in claims across wildfire lawsuits filed in Oregon and California. And that number really could be low because damages in some cases could go up, and some lawsuits don't list a dollar amount. And with all that on the table and regulatory changes in the West, even Warren Buffett questions the future investments here for things like power plants or transmission lines. He actually wrote, "It will be many years until we know the final tally from Berkshire Hathaway Energy forest fire losses and can intelligently make decisions about the desirability of future investments in vulnerable Western states. It remains to be seen whether the regulatory environment will change elsewhere." He said in extreme cases, some private utilities could face bankruptcy, and private investors may not be willing to take risks on utility companies, meaning the country actually could eventually consider turning to a public power system. That'd be interesting.